So, I tried something last week. I planted a $20 bill in my backyard, watered it every day, gave it plenty of sunlight, and even played it some motivational podcasts. And guess what? Nothing. Absolutely nothing grew except my disappointment and a weird fungus situation that I'm not choosing to discuss. Here is the thing. Why do we even say money doesn't grow on trees? Like, who was the first person to look at a tree and think, oh, you know what would be cool if currency just sprouted from that oak, and then got so disappointed when it didn't happen? And, side note, the expression severely undervalues organic farm-to-table produce. Anyone who's been to the Union Square Farmers Market knows that growing on trees means profit. The other week, I bought 2 apples and a small OJ for like $24. I'm Jenny, and I went down this bizarre rabbit hole of money idioms that we all say without thinking about how genuinely weird they are. And honestly, some of these phrases reveal more about our relationship with money than any financial advisor ever could. Plus, one of them involves actual pigs, so that's fun. Stick around because we're going from money trees to cash cows to why breaking a piggy bank became the universal symbol for childhood savings trauma. And I promise by the end of this, you'll realize we've all been speaking in financial metaphors our entire lives without even knowing it. Why do we say money doesn't grow on trees? The original money tree disappointment. Alright, so Victorian England, 1891. Parents are stressed, kids want stuff, and someone's dad, let's call him Reginald because that just feels right, finally snaps and yells, money doesn't grow on trees. Except that's not actually when it started, but Reginald definitely said it, probably while wearing a top hat. I don't know why I'm imagining the top hat, but it's there. The phrase really took off during the late 1800s, but here's the thing that absolutely breaks my brain. For most of human history, money kind of actually did grow on trees. Think about it. Cocoa beans literally grew on trees and were money. The Aztecs had an entire economy based on chocolate. Cinnamon bark was worth more than gold in some medieval circles. And nutmeg caused literal wars. And no, not just at my Thanksgiving with my mother-in-law. You should know, when I'm assigned apple Bavarian tort, I take it very seriously.
And we're out here saying money doesn't grow on trees? Tell that to the Dutch East India Company. They built an empire on tree money, a problematic one that we don't have time or emotional bandwidth to discuss right now, but
people have died for table spices. Paper money is literally made from trees. Well, actually cotton and linen now, but still, the irony is not lost on me. We're basically carrying around processed plant matter, saying plants can't make money. Make it make sense. The phrase became huge during the Great Depression when parents needed a quick way to crush their children's dreams. I mean, teach them about scarcity. Same thing, really. One newspaper from 1932 quoted a mother saying, I must have told my children 100 times that money doesn't grow on trees. And her poor Depression-era kids were probably like, we were just asking for bread. Sorry to be greedy. Cash cow, the weirdest compliment in business. Can we talk about how cash cow is a phrase that serious business people use with straight faces? Like someone in a boardroom really says, your cash cow is underperforming this quarter, and nobody laughs? Nobody? This one actually comes from dairy farming, which makes sense until you think about it for more than 3 seconds. Dairy farmers noticed that once you bought a cow, it just kept producing milk with relatively low maintenance. Feed goes in, milk comes out. I mean, there's the operational overhead, land, labor, farm equipment, vet bills, insurance, and the climate cost. But for me, there'd be the cost of touching the udders. But sure, to one overconfident trust fund farmer, it's free money. The term entered business language in the 1970s when the Boston Consulting Group created their growth share matrix. They needed memorable terms for different types of products, and somehow cash cow beat out what I assume were the runner-ups like money chicken or profit pig. Actually, profit pig sounds pretty good. Fortune 500 companies seriously analyze their cash cows. Harvard Business School has entire courses on cash cow optimization. There are scholarly papers with titles like Maximizing Cash Cow Performance in Declining Markets. Academia really went, yes, let's make the cow thing official. But wait until you hear about Piggy Banks, which exists because of a 600-year-old spelling mistake that nobody bothered to fix. Okay. So I had to get a tea to tell you this because it's too good and I need caffeine to process it. Piggy banks exist because medieval English potters couldn't spell. That's it, that's the reason, maybe. In medieval England, people stored money in jars made from an orange clay called pig, spelled P-Y-G-G. Pig jars had nothing to do with pigs the animal, just a type of clay with an unfortunate name. Fast forward a few centuries, the word pig falls out of use, but people still called their money jars pig banks. At some point in the 1800s, legend has it that a potter misunderstood the word, thought someone had asked for pig banks, P-I-G, and said, weird request, but okay. And so he makes a bank shaped like a pig. Whether that exact mix-up happened or not, the pig shape definitely stuck. Parents loved them because kids thought they were cute. Kids loved them because, well, pig. the pig shape actually made them more popular than regular jars ever were. And this mistake became a global phenomenon. Kind of like when you texted a friend with a weird autocorrect and then suddenly yogurt mats were everywhere. Germany has a word for piggy bank that translates to savings pig. Mexico has alcancias, often shaped like pigs, and Japan has pig-shaped chokinbako. The entire world looked at this English pottery mistake and collectively decided, this is the way. The tradition of smashing them often started because early ceramic banks didn't have openings. Once your money went in, the only way out was pig murder, which is actually genius if you think about it. One-way banking. You had to really want that candy to destroy your beloved pig friend. Penny pincher. The art of being carefully cheap. Penny pincher. We say this about people who are super frugal, but have you actually ever tried to pinch a penny? I'll wait. Physically impossible. They're flat. You can't pinch flat things. You can hold them. You can stack them. You can make them penny towers when you're bored, but pinching? Not happening. Also, would you want to? But pennies look filthy. I looked up how dirty the average penny was, and I was shocked. It's actually less dirty than paper money and credit cards. Metals and copper are harder for bacteria to thrive in, but pennies look filthy. Back to the pinching part. The term comes from the 1600s when pennies were actually worth something, unlike current times where there have been recent rumors and proposals to phase out the production of the penny as soon as 2026. This is because it actually costs more than a penny to make a penny, and Econ 101 taught Jenny that is bad money math. But back in the day, when a penny could buy you a whole loaf of bread, people were literally shaving bits of metal off of coins to sell, so authorities would pinch or test coins to make sure they were legit. So originally, penny pinchers were the smart ones who didn't get scammed with fake money. They were like the original quality control department. Now we use it to describe your friend who asked for separate checks because she didn't share the appetizer or any of the cake for your birthday dinner. Really good look, Sarah. Seriously over it. But here's the thing. Studies show that people who track small expenses actually have way more in savings than those who don't. Those same studies, though, didn't measure if these super savers had more scarcity mindset-induced anxiety. I would guess they did, so maybe it's a pick your poison type of deal. But one thing I'm sure of, no one will shave down my pennies. Breaking the bank, when winning went too hard. This one is my favorite. Breaking the bank comes from the greatest casino heist that wasn't technically a heist. Monte Carlo, 1873. A British engineer named Joseph Jagger hired 6 clerks to secretly record every spin of the roulette wheels. After analyzing the data, like the nerd hero he was, Jagger discovered one wheel had a bias. Certain numbers came up more often because of a tiny mechanical imperfection. So he bet on those numbers, and won, and won. The Count of Monte Carlo. It's unclear how he had a hunch about this faulty roulette wheel, whether he frequented this gambling hall and understood mechanics and probability, or if a clairvoyant witch just tipped him off. I'm going with the witch. He won so much money that the casino literally ran out of cash to pay him. And these gambling halls held a certain amount of francs, aka the bank, to pay out the winners. And in the rare cases, someone won more than this tableside slush fund, and the bank was broken. Play was suspended so they could get more cash from the vault. They even put a black cloth over the table, like someone had died, for good measure. Financially speaking, someone had, but it was just some Reginalds no one felt sorry for, so it's fine. Jagger walked away with what would allegedly be millions in today's money from his bank breaking. And the casino figured out what had happened and started switching wheels. But I mean, it was too late. Jagger had already become a legend and given us this phrase. He bought a bunch of houses for family members and died in 1892, according to the highly reputable Brewer's Dictionary of Phrase and Fable. Now we use breaking the bank to mean kind of the opposite. This chaise lounge won't break the bank. We went from I swashbuckled the casino to this purchase is affordable. It's like if winning the lottery evolved to mean your grandma giving you a $25 savings bond for your birthday. Language is weird. Money talks, and it's been talking for 2,500 years. Sayings like money talks and this idea that money has persuasive power can be traced in literature all the way back to ancient Greece, where, fun fact, rich people could literally pay other people to do their military service for them. Money didn't just talk. It could get you out of war. Culturally, people have long contrasted loud new money with the quieter ways of old money, flashy mansions and sports cars versus understated estates and country clubs. Even character actors and other marginally famous people can stay afloat these days by getting paid to make happy birthday videos for their fans online on some platforms. And honestly, I'm here for that. Idioms around the world. So here's where it gets really interesting. Every culture has weird money sayings that make no sense until you know the history. In Japan, they say, even dust piles up to become a mountain, which is beautifully poetic until you realize they're just talking about compound interest, and it's probably been used to sell vacuums. In Russia, money loves silence. Basically means don't flex on social media. but it sounds like something a mafia boss in a hit crime thriller movie might say threateningly. My favorite discovery was that almost every culture compares money to water. We have liquid assets. Companies stay afloat, and debt drowns you. It's like humanity collectively decided money is basically financial water, which makes sense until you try to drink it. Don't try to drink it. Some companies claim to have edible gold flakes, so I guess you can drink that in moderation. But also, why? Conclusion. After falling down this rabbit hole of money idioms, here's what hit me. These phrases aren't random. They're like linguistic fossils, showing how humans have always had a complicated relationship with money. We compare it to things that don't exist. Animals we befriend, then destroy, like piggy banks. Cows we endlessly milk, like cash cows. And banks we fantasize about breaking. But here's the thing. These phrases stick around because they take complicated economic concepts and make them simple. Money doesn't grow on trees is more visual than resources are scarce, dwindling, and non-replenishing. We say money doesn't grow on trees because somewhere in history, exhausted parents just needed a quick way to explain economics to their kids, and it probably introduced capitalism to their fragile minds a little too early. But it's that or end up with a house full of toys and an empty wallet. The idioms that have stuck are economic lessons disguised as folksy wisdom. What's wild is that in a world where money is increasingly just numbers on screens, we still need these physical metaphors to understand it. It's hard to conceptualize digital banking. We can understand a pig full of coins. And that's worth its weight in... Never mind, that's a whole nother video. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, hit like and subscribe for more content that tackles topics that I think are worth discussing. Drop a comment with what you'd like to see next. I'm always up for covering something new.